All right. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining this blab. My name is Jason Bates. I'm located here in Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm the host of a podcast here called Valley of the Sun Real Estate Show. And you can reach me by visiting my website. It's kind of, if you're viewing the blab, it's really tiny down here, and I got to change my lower third. But for all the podcast listeners, you can reach me by visiting my website at www.valleyofthesunrealestateshow.com. And from there, connect with me on any social media platform, or just about any social media platform that's out there. Today, I'm joined by Marchella, and she's with Keller Williams Realty right here in Phoenix, Arizona. In fact, we've done some business together, so I really appreciate her taking time out of her day to be a part of this blab. So thank you for joining me today, Marchella.
Thank you for having me. So my name's Marchella, and like he said, I'm with Keller Williams Realty, and you can follow me on Sold by Chella is actually my website and my name. So it's spelled with Chella, so it's sold SOLD by Chella.
Absolutely, Sold by Chella is a Twitter handle, and do follow her on Twitter. So that'd be very, very cool. So today I want to get right into this because today it's very competitive, especially here in Phoenix, Arizona, and across the country for that matter. I mean, numbers are up as far as homes being sold. Inventory is down in many parts of the country, especially here in Phoenix. And so we want to talk about the tips for selling your home in a competitive market. There's a lot of people out there I know that are on the fence on whether or not they should be selling. And some people might be, right on that border of being upside down in their home or not upside down in their home. And so they want the highest price or the highest offer on their home, but they don't always go about that the right way. They just think, it's about price. And there's other factors that go along into selling your home. It's not just always about price, although that's a big one, but it's not the only one. So let's talk about some of the things that you're seeing right now. This is October 2015. We're nearing the end of our kind of hot buying season, and I would imagine across the country. And so buying season, selling season, kind of the same thing. We're seeing a lot of snowbirds coming here to the valley, of course, to take advantage of our nice warm weather. And I would imagine, I used to live in Columbus, Ohio, and it's cold this time of year. It starts to get cold, and the home selling and home buying process kind of slows down. So I want to get right into some of these tips. So do you have any tips to kind of start us off with here, Marchella? And I've got some videos, and we'll go through those in just a second. But do you have any tips to kind of start us off here?
Basic tip 101 is just cleaning up and decluttering and taking out your personal items. That is huge. And a lot of agents don't encourage their sellers to do that. And buyers walk in and they see them. They don't see themselves.
Right.
And so they have to get past that. So, and I know one of your videos talks about that.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Let me ask you this, though, because this is, as I said, we're getting into Thanksgiving. We're getting into, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever. Not everybody celebrates those things. So if you're looking to put your home on the market today, is it a good idea to decorate for the seasons?
No, it's not. Keep it very neutral, because right now the only people who are going to come through your house are actual buyers. You don't have the looky-loos as much. People are busy. They're getting ready for the holidays. They're shopping. They're spending time with their families. They're planning their vacations. So the only people you're going to have looking pretty much are real buyers. So you want to grasp them. You definitely want to make it open to everybody.
Yeah, and I would say, and you correct me if I'm wrong here. You're kind of on the streets more than I am. Here in Phoenix, anyway, we've gotten away from the investor. There's still investors out there, of course, but not to the extreme that they were before, where they're just like, "Hey, name your price and we buy it," or I want the lowest price. We're now getting into more of a normalized market, wouldn't you say?
That's what they're calling it. Right now, kind of the sellers have the upper hand. There's more buyers than there are sellers. So we are out there looking for listings. I make calls every day trying to find buyers for my sellers and sellers for my buyers. It's kind of funny how it works, but
it is kind of funny how that kind of cyclical kind of thing goes. Well, let's dive right into the first video here, and I do apologize for all the podcast listeners, but you will be able to see this on my YouTube channel. So go to my YouTube channel; you'll be able to check it out there. But I did pull some videos from HGTV that do kind of emphasize some of the things that we can do to help sell, or what you can do, I should say, to help sell your home. And I think too, before I play the video, I want to kind of interject here a little bit. Sometimes hearing it from a third party goes a lot further, when you say, than even though the person, the homeowner, hires you, Marchella, to sell their home. Sometimes they don't want to hear what you have to say, right? They put the blinders on or the earmuffs on, and they say, "Yeah, well, you're going to do as I say. I don't care if you're the professional or not. You're going to do it this way."
Yep.
And that's why I wanted to play these videos, because and have these sound bites, because I think it's important that you keep an open mind when you're selling your home. It is your castle. I get it. And it is your American dream, but you want somebody who's going to keep you grounded if you really want to sell your home, sell it in a competitive market and get the highest price.
Right. And sometimes it's hard for sellers to hear it. So I always tell them, okay, I have to be blunt. I have to tell you that this is what we have to do. If you don't need it, if you don't use it every day, it needs to be packed up and out of here. Let's move it out.
Right. And when you say too, I see a lot of agents here in the Valley, and I've talked to other agents across the country, so I know it's not just a Valley thing, that they take the listing just to take the listing. So whatever you say, Mr. Homeowner, I just want the listing. If you want to list it 20% above fair market value, I'm fine with that. Let's do it. It gets them an opportunity to put the yard sign in there and hopefully get some leads from it. But they're really doing an disservice to the home buyer and to the market in general.
What's really hard, though, is if you do take a listing like that, you do have to have your seller agree to lower the price. Because if you don't get any action on it, I mean, it's just going to sit there. So, but sometimes that's what you have to do, because sometimes people think their house is worth so much more than it really is. So.
Most definitely. All right, cool. So let's jump into this. I'm going to hit play here, and we'll play it, and then I'll pause it. If you want to say something, please interject, and we'll just kind of go from there. But this is a good soundbite on the first, and these are kind of in chronological from least to most. So the first one here, we'll go ahead and play that.
Perfect.
Let's go here and whoop. Well, maybe I'll play it here, huh? Actually, I got to just hit. Give me 1 second here. Put it at the beginning here, Jason. Bear with me. Here we go. All right, here we go.
Many people don't know this, but it's hard to put a value or a price on storage and closet space. But let me tell you, storage and closet space is at a premium.
Every single...
Hey, I'm going to interject here real quick, because in Arizona, I'm from Ohio, right? So there's basements in Ohio. In Arizona, we don't have basements. And I know Jay's in the room here, and maybe there's basements in Texas, but and here in Arizona, it's a slab typically, and a garage, and so storage is a premium here in Arizona. So that's why I picked this one here, even though it's one of the least. It's one of the most important here in Arizona.
Square inch of storage that you have needs to be celebrated and embraced and shown off.
This closet is phenomenal. Look at this.
Reduce the size of the clothes in your closet. Keep it half empty. So the wife or even the husband or whoever can walk in and, ooh, there's plenty of room for us. These are sort of like bags.
I love that, because I know my closet is stuffed.
Of it out, put it in storage.
Nothing worse than someone's house and opening a closet door and a bunch of brooms and bikes and kids' toys fall out on you.
Oh, that happened.
That's Arizona, right? I mean, that is Arizona, because closets double as storage space too.
That when buyers come into your home, they're not going to look into your closets or cabinets. Wrong. They snoop. And when they open up that door, you better be sure that it's organized.
It's human
It's
nature.
not really snooping. They're looking at the house. They want to know.
I'm sorry,
Right.
but buyers snoop. So put away some of your private stuff. When you have an open house, we're going to look around. I want to check you out. At least my wife does.
Be ready that The buyer is going to look through that one sock drawer that you didn't clean. They may even look to see how deep it is.
So get cleaning. It'll put selling your place and moving out on the fast track.
So that's pretty good. I think that was important. Like I said, here in Arizona, I know a lot of people purchase, they may only own 2 cars, maybe even 1 car, but they'll look for a home here that has a 3-car garage just to have that extra bay for the storage space. So, yep. And then above the garage too, they utilize that. They put, the drop-in ladders and stuff like that. So storage is a premium here in Arizona.
Yeah, I've had sellers that I've had get a storage unit just, right before we put the house on the market, just get, like they were saying, like a quarter of the furniture at least. I mean, it just depends how much they have in there, but yeah, if you don't need it, get it out.
When you walk into new homes, right, they always have like maybe 2 or 3 things hanging in the closet. They never have that thing stuffed to the gills, right? So, right. There's something to be said about that. So definitely, empty out that closet a little bit. In fact, I've got to do that myself. I've got some clothes I need to get rid of. All right, so we'll go on to the next one here.
You should be maximizing the light in your home because after location, the one thing that every buyer cites that they want the most is good light.
If they can't see your house, they can't love your house. And if they don't love your house, they're not going to buy your house.
This looks great, especially with the light coming in. It's important that the house is essentially glowing from inside out.
Take down the drapes, clean your windows, change the lampshades, up your wattage in your light bulbs, cut the bushes out front to let the sun shine in. Do what you have to do to let the light in because those are the things that make a home more saleable.
And I'm going to pause it here real quick because I want to, here in Arizona, we've got so many days of sunshine here. It's awesome, right? And, I was talking to you before the show here, and here in Arizona, a lot of times we'll have people that, when you live in the house, you close the blinds and you close the drapery or whatever, because light in Arizona means heat, and heat means higher electric bills. And so a lot of people will close their blinds. And a big one, when you say, is the north-south facing frontage type, the position of the house here in Arizona is a big deal because of that. So in the northern climates, light is a, cool, when you don't see the sun, like in Ohio, we didn't see the sun that often. So when we got it, every window was open. But here in Arizona, it's sunny almost every single day.
Mm-hmm. But you still want lighting in the house.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely. I was telling another gentleman before the show, Jay, who was in the, sometimes I've walked into homes where there's so much lighting that you have to have your sunglasses on in the house. So it's kind of funny here.
I just had a buyer call me about a week after we closed, and she says, I know it's hot in Arizona, but my kitchen's extremely hot. And that's what it was. They had put really, really high wattage bulbs in her kitchen. So we figured out to lower, I'm like, okay, I'll come over, we'll take a look. And that's what it was. So. Yeah.
It is amazing. The LEDs don't put off as much heat anymore. So I think people are kind of gravitating to those, but those bulbs are super expensive. But for lighting purposes, setting the mood for a particular room is critical. It is an important factor.
Right. It is.
So, all right, cool.
As they say in the movie, I'm going to light the money. That means you're going to light the area with the most impact. Make it feel lively and fresh. And there's nothing like light to do that. You can create mood, or you can create brightness. You can create energy. All those things with lighting. That's a lot of light.
Hey, too, I want to mention here too, real quick, the light, the type of light. Like I've seen this trend here with these light bulbs, the old style light bulbs, the filament light bulbs. What are your thoughts on that? It's kind of trendy, right? I've seen them like around patios, and a lot of restaurants here who have outdoor space and stuff have that kind of lighting. What's your thoughts on the lighting? Like he's mentioning there, you got to set the mood, right? So you got to pick the right lighting.
Right. I think it just depends on the house and the situation, the time of year. If you're living in the house versus you're not living in the house, you have to really take all that into consideration.
My wife, speaking of lighting, she's always complaining about the bathroom lighting, right? That's where she does her makeup and, her hair and all that kind of stuff. And every time we're getting ready to leave the house, she gets angry because the lighting isn't good. Therefore, she thinks her makeup isn't good. And, she's trying to work out of a little makeup mirror kind of thing. So you're changing the lighting in this bathroom. So lighting is super important to her for sure.
Yes, it's important in the bathroom.
Yeah. Make sure your lights are nice and bright when people come and look at your house, but not so bright that you're burning their retinas.
There you go, right?
While trying to illuminate your interior, don't ignore the exterior.
Indoor lighting is crucial, but so is outdoor lighting. Don't leave up your Christmas lights in July. Not the type of lighting where
bingo.
Somebody's coming to visit your property after dark. You need to have the right lights up so that people can still get that wow factor at night.
The most important thing to do when you're about to sell your house is to depersonalize. The more
and we talked about this. We went from lighting now to depersonalizing your house. So
great bathroom minus whatever that is.
You have to be ready to give it up. And when I say give it up, I mean give it up and start getting some of your stuff out that nobody else wants to see.
This is an organ that my grandmother gave me.
If your life and your grandparents and your wedding pictures and everything is all over the place, they're going to have trouble to picture themselves in there.
It is not a time to be proud.
And you talked about this before too, right? At the beginning of the show, you talked about depersonalizing, decluttering the house. It's amazing. I've walked into homes and if they've got wall space, they feel like they have to have a picture on it. And
Nope.
It's not always the case, right? And some of the pictures are not too appealing.
No, and everybody's taste is so different. So if you can just keep it pretty simple, and a lot of buyers can't look past the seller's stuff. They always see that, that personal picture and stuff. And that's not what we want the buyers to see. We want them to see themselves in the house.
Right. And I know the video kind of goes into this, but I walked into a house one time. They had this old picture of their, 1800s or something like that. And I don't know what it is about those pictures, but for me personally, I've got family pictures, portraits, whatever of my grandparents, whatever, but they're kind of creepy. They're not, the best quality, number one, and they just look ghostly. You know what I mean? I don't know. I know people need to be proud of their family, and I get that. But some pictures just aren't, I just don't want to see some of those pictures.
Right. Yeah. Now, when you're selling your house, put those up after you decorate when you purchase a house.
Yeah. I'm gonna play the video here and continue it here, and then I'm gonna let Aussie, I think is his name.
For example,
let him.
Strange neon colored wallpaper, or that Star Wars collection that you have lovingly displayed in your living room. There are just certain things that buyers just don't want to see. They're not going to help you sell your house. They're actually going to detract from it.
What is this? Sometimes getting your stuff out and getting some really cool, neutral, inviting things in is the key.
Consider hiring a home stager to maximize the full potential of your soon-to-be sold home.
If you want to sell your house faster and for more money, you have to stage it.
Staging simply means setting it up in its best possible light so that the buyer will fall in love. And what usually that includes is getting rid of 1/3 of all of your stuff, including your furniture. Sell it or put it in storage.
Home staging.
Now you mentioned that, right? And we talked about that a little bit. Home staging. I found that pretty interesting that you even mentioned home staging, even when you're in the home, not just an empty home, but a home that you're in the home on. And I know, just to recap before, I'm behind the scenes here a little bit. You're hearing my voice and you're looking at this person on screen. It doesn't sound like right. So I've got people entering the room. So thank you for being a part of the room here and really appreciate it. We're talking about tips for selling your home in a competitive market. And I'm playing some videos here on some tips. So to kind of continue that thought, I don't know if I lost you there, Chella, but it looks like you're kind of frozen there a little bit. Staging your home, and just hit refresh there, Chella. But staging your home and having that, taking some of the stuff out that you have, you don't necessarily need 500 couches. I'm exaggerating, of course, but a lot of couches in one room. You may only need one couch in that room, which then showcases the size of that room. So I'm going to continue on with the video here.
Is like wearing a tailored suit that's fitted perfect to your dimensions. When you go in and stage a house, you have the furniture arranged to best showcase the floor plan and maximize the use of space. So you tell me, do you want to go out in a frumpy suit or one that's been tailored to fit you to perfection?
I can't tell you how much it can transform your home into something that people may like, into something they have to live in.
So pack up those personal items and stage to sell.
So I know Chell and I were speaking about that and you know, getting a storage unit or something like that before you actually put your house on the market. Have a professional like Marchella go through your home and say what needs to go, what needs to stay. There are a lot of things that we will find in your home that you don't necessarily need when you're trying to sell your home. So it's only a temporary thing. You may have that, you know, favorite, you know, most comfortable lazy boy chair, but it may not be the most appealing. And so maybe putting that in storage might help showcase the home a little bit better.
The kitchen always comes first.
The benefits to remodeling your kitchen before you sell it are endless. And the best part of it is you'll get probably 85% of it back.
The kitchen is the hub of the house. It doesn't matter how beautiful the house is, how big your house is. Everybody always ends up in the kitchen.
Well, you're not actually selling your house.
Kitchen sells homes. My wife is always about the kitchen. That's the first thing my wife looks at is the kitchen.
Cost of renovating. So it may just be a few $1,000s to replace the countertops, where a buyer is going to knock off $10,000 off an asking price.
But you don't have to spend a fortune.
The most inexpensive way of updating a kitchen is typically through paint and hardware. So paint the walls, paint the cabinets, change the hardware. You can take a kitchen from 1980s.
Yeah, and I can't stress that enough. I know a lot of people here in Arizona, they'll take the hardware, and hopefully Marchella will be able to rejoin us here shortly. But they'll take cabinets that might be oak from the 80s or 90s and put some hardware on there and really dress them up. I've seen hardware that has crystals and, you know, kind of personalized kind of deals on them. They'll get too personalized with some of that hardware, but it really can dress up a kitchen big time. And then having a fresh coat of paint in the kitchen also is a definite plus.
6 to 2009.
That's the refrigerator, and it's just old and noisy. Okay.
All right. One smart improvement to make in your kitchen is to buy one fancy stainless steel appliance. Why one? Because when people see one fancy appliance, they kind of think all the rest are expensive too. And it updates the kitchen. A smart move and not a lot of money.
I'm a big lover of color, but when you're going to sell, change your kitchen to a neutral color so that you can present your buyer with a blank canvas to look at, where they can start envisioning their own style in the space versus constantly having your style imposed upon them.
Yeah. I don't have to do a thing. Just cook.
Remember, the one thing all buyers want is a current kitchen.
And I know this, you know, seems like a commercial for HGTV, but I just pulled some videos from HGTV that help emphasize some of the things that you can do as a home buyer to help sell your home in a competitive market. As I said at the beginning of the show, it's very competitive here in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm from Phoenix, and I know I'm talking behind what you're seeing right now, but trust me, I'm there. And Winona, thanks for joining us today. I appreciate you being in the room here with us, or with me. Marchella was in the room, and she's going to be coming back, hopefully. But these are just some videos to help emphasize some of the things that you can do that will be pretty easy in helping getting the maximum price in a competitive market and really setting yourself apart from your competitors. This is the last video, by the way.
Nothing like a first impression. It's like showing up on a first date. You want to look hot. Your property needs to look incredible. When people drive up, they need to be begging their agent to walk them through the front door.
This is kind of cute.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have we had that
The car and
happen?
walking up to your house is the exterior.
Where somebody drives up to the house and then says, "Oh, keep driving," because the house doesn't look very good, doesn't have that curb appeal, the trees aren't trimmed. It is just a lot of work that people see on that. So good idea to see, to have good curb appeal.
And no matter how good the interior looks, they're already judging that house before they go through the door.
It's so important to make sure people feel warm, welcome, safe as they approach the house, because these first impressions are impressions that they'll keep with them forever.
When buyers are waiting for their realtors to unlock the front door, they have some time to look around. So if they see weeds and broken stones, they're going to wonder, what's it look on the inside? So
Right.
make sure that your curb appeal is in tip-top shape.
Plant some inexpensive shrubs. Take an afternoon and do some gardening and put in some beautiful bright colored flowers.
You typically get 100% return on the money you put into curb appeal.
And don't stop at the curb.
Entranceways are, super important when you're selling. Once you've bought, they become less important. It's more of a utility space,
And I couldn't agree with that statement more. The first impression when you open that door, that is very important to the overall feel of the home. So take the time to, remove the boots or whatever it is that you have at the front door, dog leashes, whatever it is, make it very inviting and very, very friendly and warm.
As you're walking in and out of the house, your coat, your keys. But when you're selling a house, it's a great place to put a small bench, a vase of fresh cut flowers, some cookies.
It doesn't cost a lot of money to make that look clean, fresh, and inviting. Something that makes people feel like, hello, you're welcome.
So remember, you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Amen to that. And so with that is the entire video. And I think perfect timing. She's back.
Yeah, I have to get the other camera hooked up. My computer just shuts down. So. I'm like, oh.
I couldn't have, had a producer or something, time that any better. So that was actually perfect. You jumped right back in.
Perfect.
So I don't know if you saw it. I don't know if it was just your camera or whatever, but
it
was it your
my whole computer down?
Oh my goodness. Technical difficulties.
I know.
So, but it just went through. You obviously saw, we talked about the last thing about curb appeal. I was mentioning, I've been with buyers and they just say, hey, keep driving. If it doesn't have that great curb appeal, if it doesn't show well, and then having the front, well manicured, because they, I know a lot of buyers, that's where they spend a lot of time when they're first looking at the house. They'll stand out front of the curb, or they'll stand on the porch, or, they'll do things out in the front yard. And so having that picked up and de-weeded is super important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't see the video this time, but I did see it before when you were playing it. And it's true. When we're doing the lockbox and stuff, what do you think the buyer is doing? They're walking around the property. That's exactly what they're doing.
Right.
So,
exactly. And then it said too, don't stop there, but take care of that entryway. And this being the most important, having that good curb appeal, having the entryway where you're not, tripping over, galoshes or, umbrellas or dog leashes or whatever it is that you keep at the front door. Get all that stuff out of there. I know when I first bought my house, I walked in and just stood there with the door open and just kind of absorbed it to try to get a feel, a vibe from the house. And so I know here in Arizona, there's special attention made to a lot of entryways on homes.
Mm-hmm.
Grand staircases, doors that have glass with bars, very decorative doors, that sort of thing, because they do make a great first impression. So taking the time to at least take care of that space is super important.
Yep. That and the smell when you first walk into a house. I know it sounds really weird, but I notice my buyers will, if it's not like a pleasant smell, right away they're like turned off.
Yeah. Good point. Very good point. Absolutely. I mean, if you got pet odors or smoking or stuff like that, I know when I walked in a couple, when I was buying my house and I walked in a couple, it was like dollar signs for me. If I smelled something, okay, I got to replace the carpet, or I got to, do the, what do they call it? The duct work, where they take the dust and stuff out of the duct or whatever. That was all dollar signs. And when I saw dollar signs, that meant I lowballed the offer. And there was a point in my mind where I said, I'm not willing to pay over that, because I'll go on to the next, because I got to put this kind of money into it to get it to where my standards are. Therefore, it's not worth it to me. And that perceived value is critical in getting that home sold.
It is.
So hopefully those give you some good tips. There were 5 of them in there. I don't know if you have anything that you'd like to add. Obviously the smell, that's a good tip. I love that tip, by the way.
Mm-hmm. When you walk in, you want to smell something pleasant, something either flowery or something cooking. You know, now they have all those Scentsy things. It's not hard. You can put things in your air conditioner. You know, they're just to make it appealing, you know.
Right. Another one I want to throw in here too, as a tip for selling your home in a competitive market, is having it a little more tech savvy. Now, obviously, you know, we're on Blab and I'm part of a podcast, and, you know, I'm a kind of not a real techie guy, but I enjoy tech. And having like, you know, I've seen like these doorbells that have, you know, cameras on them that hook up to your phone. Pretty inexpensive. You know, they're not too expensive, a couple $100s or whatever. Mm-hmm. But those little kind of things, those little attention to details, I think can go a long way into help broaden your appeal on the home. What do you think?
Yeah, it's just that first impression. It's what it's all about. You don't get a second chance at that. So whatever you can do, you know, a lot of times if my sellers want to list their house, I'll say, okay, we'll get it on the market. I will do a, you know, coming soon, and these are the things that you need to do, you know, and I'll take pictures kind of as needed. So as they're ready, like room for room, and we just kind of go with it that way. But yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, perfect. I think we covered a lot. What do you, if you got anything to add, or you'd like to add anything else, please let me know. But I think we covered a lot.
I think we did.
All right, cool. Well, thanks once again. I'm going to stop the recording. You know, we can still hang out, obviously, and talk here on Blab. But for the podcast, we're going to go ahead and end this. You can always reach me. I'm Jason Bates. I do the podcast, Valley of the Sun Real Estate Show. You can reach me on my website at www.valleyofthesunrealestateshow.com. And from there, you can connect with me on any social media. And thank you very much, Marchella, for being a part of this. And tell everybody once again how we can get in touch with you.
Well, thanks for having me, Jason. So you can find me Sold by Chella, SoldByChella. That's my website, and that is also my email at gmail.com. So, and everything on there, everything's on my Twitter too, as far as my telephone number and where I'm at. So.
All right, perfect. Well, connect with Marchella for sure and follow her. And thank you all for listening. And I hope to see you out there home shopping soon. Take care.